Get ready for the dictation in 3, 2, 1, start. The defendants also object to the maintainability of the suit, contending that it is time barred, having been filed beyond the period of limitation prescribed for the purpose under the Limitation Act. Stop. Here it is stated that Part 3 of the schedule to the Limitation Act pertains to suits for declaration. Article 56 to 57 deal with specific situations, states that for obtaining any other declaration, the period of limitation prescribed is 3 years, which commences when the right to sue accrues. Stop. The above discussion shows that the plaintiff seeks a declaration that this court's decree in the partition suit is void. Stop. The challenge is based on the assertion that the defendants, the first defendant and her children being plaintiffs in that suit, and the other defendants being the contesting parties in the said suit, could not have made a statement on 16/11/2005 which led to the preliminary decree, since the plaintiff's right to the property had accrued by virtue of the agreement to sell the partnership deed and possession having been handed over to him. Stop. The defendants argue that the suit is not maintainable. 1. That the plaintiff does not have any enforceable right, title, or interest in respect of the suit properties, and that the suit is time barred. Now, the above narrative would disclose that the plaintiff now here asserts that the first defendant had exclusive right or title to the suit properties. Stop. He does not ascribe knowledge on the part of the other defendants who were co-sharers, held entitled to specific shares in the property by the court's decree of 16/11/2005 to the agreement to sell relied upon in the suit. Stop. He does not also disclose how, in the absence of any relinquishment or even a testamentary disposition favoring the first defendant, she could have conveyed title in respect of the entire property. Stop. Facially, therefore, he does not anywhere deny the ownership of the other co-sharers, and that the first defendant could at best have represented a 1/5 of 20% share in respect of the suit properties. Stop. In these circumstances, the court is of opinion that the plaintiff has not articulated any legally enforceable right to claim declaration that the previous partition decree of this court is vitiated by fraud or any other legally substantiable factor invalidating it. Stop. Para. The averments in the suit would show that the plaintiff is claiming title to the suit properties on the basis of an agreement to sell. Stop. The precise term of such agreement to sell allegedly entered into with the first defendant are unknown. Stop. A contract to sell immovable property is one species of contract. Stop. No provision of law obliges such contract to be in writing. Stop. The judgments of the Supreme Court have repeatedly emphasized that there can be binding oral agreements to sell immovable property. Stop. The question is not whether the plaintiffs had proved existence of an agreement to sell with the plaintiff. But if the materials and pleadings on record show that such contract had come into existence, stop. As noticed earlier, barring the total consideration and the subject matter, the plaint and indeed the documents filed along with the suit do not disclose what were the other essential conditions, such as the time frame for payment, the party required to bear the cost of convenience of the party responsible for seeking approval, etc. Stop. Therefore, the plaintiff has not shown an enforceable right even to claim conveyance. Stop. Admittedly, the total consideration payable was rupees 1 crore, out of which rupees 30 lakhs were paid. Stop. The plaintiff does not even state that any other amount was tendered nor discloses any particulars in that regard. Stop. Thank you.